In the funeral that we had at Nyayo Stadium, Uhuru Kenyatta received the best reception.
Asanteni sana. Asante sana. Nimeshukuru. Thank you. Asanteni sana. Asanteni. Former president.
People were cheering him right, left, and center. It did not just start when he was giving his speech. It was clear when he was entering the stadium and whenever his name was mentioned by anyone who was on the microphone. The crowd always went wild. People cheered Uhuru Kenyatta. The fact remains that Uhuru Kenyatta was the man of the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, in this particular video, I want to take you through on some of the reasons as to why Uhuru Kenyatta was really cheered. But before I do so, let me take you through a few facts here. The crowd that was in that stadium, majorly it was from Luo Nyanza. And these people were left in William Ruto's hands. But still, they could not cheer William Ruto the way they cheered Uhuru Kenyatta.
Fellow citizens, friends of Kenya from across the world, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, everyone.
After the last general elections, Uhuru Kenyatta went cold. He did not actually participate seriously in politics. And it was speculated that they were very close with Raila Odinga. Actually, Raila Odinga came out and said, even the idea of broad-based government, it came out as a result of Uhuru Kenyatta's call to him. So these are people who are close. Uhuru Kenyatta never abused Baba. Nowhere they did attack each other. Nowhere. But we saw some attempts from some ODM people, like Gladys Wanga and stuff. So Uhuru Kenyatta went cold. William Ruto and Raila Odinga started working together. So in a nutshell, people did not see the closeness as such with Raila Odinga towards his last times in alive, I mean. But then people keep on asking, then why is it that Uhuru Kenyatta is receiving this huge reception from the people of Luo Nyanza? That's what I want to take you through on this particular channel. But before I do so, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mukwa Times, take a second or two to subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. My name is Abel Mukwa. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for choosing Mukwa Times. Thank you for the support you've given me. My number is always here. For those who want to support the channel, feel free to do so. What is my reason number one? One, it's the handshake that they had with Raila Odinga back in 2018 March. I honestly have to state it here that it was the most necessary handshake that Kenya has never ever needed after the 2007 one. That handshake, Raila Odinga had made it very necessary because already he had shown in himself as the people's president at Uhuru Park. And then the conversation was going around that let's divide Kenya and have the Republic of Kenya and the Kenyan Central Kenya, something of that sort. Kenyans were reasoning from a tribal perspective. And then, surprisingly, on a Wednesday morning, I think, Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta at Aramba Avenue handshaking. And everything turned around. During that time, we can say that this handshake was well calculated. During that period of the handshake, all the way from 2018 to 2022, the bromance between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga was top-notch. Always visiting each other. I remember there's a time Raila Odinga was very sick with COVID. Uhuru Kenyatta literally went to his house and picked him out. They came out and started walking around, visiting projects here and there. Raila Odinga's throat was not so clear to speak to the people. But Uhuru Kenyatta said, no, you cannot stay in the house for all this time. You might die early. Let's get out. Despite that, Raila Amolo Odinga most of the times told the show, Uhuru Kenyatta impressed him a lot. If you guys remember the national holiday that was celebrated at Kisumu, you'll remember that it was massive. In fact, it was the best we've ever had. Ruto tried that one for Homa Bay, but it could not still reach there. The entertainment, Uhuru Kenyatta dancing, and many other things that happened in that kind of a function, they were massive. So in a nutshell, they had a very good relationship from the time of handshake all the way to 2022, which everyone could see. And it was genuine. The conversations is going around that Uhuru Kenyatta took Raila Amolo Odinga when he was alive and eventually returned him to the people of Luo Nyanza when he was still alive. So in a nutshell, he maintained Baba all the way. We also cannot say that Uhuru Kenyatta did not support Luo Nyanza with development projects. He did. We saw what happened in Kisumu. And in fact, most of the roads were made during Uhuru Kenyatta's time. You have this one for Homa Bay, Kisii, that one for Kisumu, Awendo, Ahero. All these things were done during Uhuru Kenyatta's time. Major development project. Ruto hasn't done so many roads in Luo Nyanza. We only still have to accept that. He has only made Homa Bay. But when it comes to the entire Luo Nyanza acceptance, it is actually Uhuru Kenyatta who did. We have this road from Kisii all the way to Migori. That road was done during Uhuru Kenyatta's time. We have this one from now Kisii, Ahero, Kisumu. It was done during Uhuru Kenyatta's time. That one from Homa Bay, it was expanded during Uhuru Kenyatta's time. So we have seen a highway in Nyanza through Uhuru Kenyatta's time. We have seen this highway from Kisii all the way going to Msondu, yes. All those highways were done during Uhuru Kenyatta's time. So in a nutshell, Uhuru Kenyatta did a lot. So the relationship was strengthened through such kind of activities like development projects and association between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga. That's why you could see that reception at Nyayo Stadium. Another thing that happened, it is the swearing in. Baba swearing in at Uhuru Park was the call of the people. At an individual capacity could say, no, let me not do this. But the call of the people is that Baba had to swear himself. Because he had already told them the elections were stolen. So Baba had no option. He had to swear in himself. So the expectations were that that particular day it was going to be killings right, left, and center. Arresting of Baba. But surprisingly, there were no policemen at Uhuru Park. The swearing-in ceremony went on successfully. No one was hurt, no one was injured. A few destructions here and there, but eventually people went back to their homes. And Dr. King of Fred Matiang'i even talked about it. It was the biggest test for him. So in a nutshell, during that function, now that people did not die, it was the best in that Uhuru Kenyatta conducted himself well. So people try to compare with what has been happening in William Ruto's regime, where at the moment people congregate, there are killings that must take place. Bodies must lie on the road. So in a nutshell, when people try to compare, they feel that William Ruto is worse than Uhuru Kenyatta. Or maybe Uhuru Kenyatta is better than Ruto. Another reason the support that Uhuru Kenyatta gave Raila Amolo Odinga back in 2022.
Munataka kuokoka? Njia ya kuokoka ni Baba. Nawaambia.
In fact, if there's someone who gave the people of Luo Nyanza hope, it is Uhuru Kenyatta. William Ruto was his competitor. Called Raila Amolo Odinga so many names. Muganga, Mchawi, and many other things. But Raila Amolo Odinga told Kenyans that njia ya kukomboa Kenya ni mzee. Heri mzee wa kutembea polepole kuliko vijana ambao wako na haraka. Ya kusema moja yangu, moja nyingine yangu, na wewe chukua hii, alafu wa Kenya kidogo. So, they are still having fresh memories of Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta back in 2022. The support that Uhuru Kenyatta gave Raila Amolo Odinga in 2022. Apart from just that, Uhuru Kenyatta delivered 1.3 million votes from Mount Kenya region, something that has never happened to Raila Amolo Odinga at all in his entire political career. So this time around, it was massive. And Kenyans were really happy, especially from Luo Nyanza, for the support that Uhuru Kenyatta gave Raila Amolo Odinga. In a nutshell, he believed in him, which other people could not believe. Another thing I have to say is the antagonism between Raila and the Kikuyu nation. Most of them did not believe in Raila Amolo Odinga, but Uhuru Kenyatta stood out and said, no, I believe in this guy. So that kind of an action, it made the people of Luo Nyanza to develop more attraction to Uhuru Kenyatta. Other thing we have to say here is that Uhuru Kenyatta was accepted by the people of Luo Nyanza because of his personality. There's a way Uhuru Kenyatta behaves that he has a favor of the people. Somehow, you cannot honestly fight him. Uhuru Kenyatta, so many bad things happened during his regime, but he was not beaten the way William Ruto has been beaten right now. No. Still, people embraced him, despite of the high cost of living. People embraced him. And now, even after leaving power, people still embrace him. Like me, I still value him to some extent. Because of one simple thing, his personality. He listened to the people a lot. It did not count us with gunshots here and there. Another thing I have to say here that William Ruto was yet to be accepted by the people of Luo Nyanza, more especially because of the deaths that occurred. The latest one, it was that one of Albert Ojwang. Youths really cried. And in fact, people were touched across the entire Luo Nyanza. Only the leaders who moved on very fast, but the local manager did not. Albert Ojwang died mercilessly, and actually his death was really touching because he was taken from his home, healthy and alive, only to be found after 26 hours, dead in the police custody, later on, discovered. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a painful experience, and because he was just the only child, and people asking Luo Nyanza, why is it that we are being killed despite Baba is in government? So those are few reasons that I could gather that resulted to Uhuru Kenyatta's massive cheering at Nyayo Stadium. My name is Abel Mukwa. Thank you so much for watching my channel. May God bless you.